All right, guys. Welcome to Angels the podcast. Definitely working a little late tonight. I had to switch studio spaces, so that's what's got me a little bit behind schedule tonight. I have some guests coming on to commemorate uh, Veterans Day today. So I don't know how my internet signal is, so somebody's gonna have to let me know whether this is still possible for me to do this today because again what do we need to do here? I'm about to share this out and give my guests some time to get up on this um, to make it up on the panel. So let's see what we got here. Boom. Panel. All right, so that is. I do have sound. Again, as you come in the building, please hit the like button so that we can get as many people in here. And first of all, happy Veterans Day. Let me turn this down. Happy Veterans Day. Salute to everybody that is serving and has served, and especially to those who have paid the ultimate price. All right. And as I wait for my guest to get in here, if there's a soldier that you want to acknowledge, please get in the comment section, put their name in there, branch of service that they represented, that they served in. All right, where are we at here? Again, happy Veterans Day. And again, y'all please excuse me because I'm working as I'm talking. I'm still loading some equipment up here. I mean, loading some information up here. Again, tonight got off to I was going to shoot in one location and had a mix up with the internet, and so being that I wasn't able to get internet over there, that's why this mic is in my face right now. All right, there we go. Okay. And let me get some of these pictures up here. Again, guys, I apologize for the late start, but we are here and we're going to get through this tonight. November 11th, which is Memorial Day. And let's see here. Let me get some pictures up here real fast before we get into this. Enter into the studio. Town hall meetings, guys, every third Thursday of the month. We need to make sure that we are in attendance there. I'll be posting that. I'll also be posting the times for Georgetown County Council meetings because we need to be there also. All right. A lot of things going on in Georgetown County that we need to be up on. Okay, not a problem. All right. And again, you see it on the screen right there. It is Veterans Day. I says Veterans Day Parade. Shout out to the Veterans Association from Andrews. Those guys really put on a good Veterans Day program. And I'll be releasing the program that I edited. I don't know what's been going on with my editing program, but it has not been cooperating with me the best. Again, as you get in here, please hit the like button so that we can get as many people in here as possible. I think I'm going to send this link out. All right. Hopefully this doesn't. All right. Let me get some pictures up there. That's me over there. Again, if there is a veteran in your family who you would like to acknowledge, please please feel free to salute them, put their name in the comment section, shout them out, you know, the branch of service that they served in or for. And yeah, let's salute them tonight as we get ready to honor our veterans. Again, salute to all of my brothers in arms from all branches of the service, all across all branches. Again, I'm getting some information up here that I'm loading up that I want to share with you guys. And as you get in here, hit the like button. I'm not charging for likes tonight. I'm doing a Veterans Day special. You know, and Veterans Day meals should be free. I'm just putting that out there as a veteran. Okay, I don't know what we honor your veterans. Again, I'm loading some information in here, guys. We're gonna have an interesting conversation tonight. So go ahead and hit the like button and get on over here. And for those of you who've been looking for the Honorable Mayor Frank McClary, he is over here in the backstage right now, getting ready to come on. So y'all get on over here, hit that like button. Come on. All right, let's get back over here and add these pictures. Bing, 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 bing. Oh, that's not, hold on. All right. Whoa. We going back into campaign mode. My bad. My bad. I thought that was all off of there. Let me get this stuff out of the way real fast so I can get some images up here. All right, but listen, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my guest up real fast, and then I'll do this while he kind of talks to you. Hey, salute to Mr. Raymond Miller. Okay, that is definitely a distinguished veteran from the Andrews community. Definitely. So I'm gonna bring Colonel Frank McClary up here real fast, and Colonel, I'm still loading some images up here, so please bear with me. But anyway, sir, salute to you. Happy Veterans Day to you, sir.
Hey, the same to you, Mr. Richardson, Mr. Jamal. A lot of people don't know you served in the United States Navy and done some pretty interesting stuff out there that frankly I wouldn't be interested in because it's too much water. It's anything more than a glass full is too much for me. So thank you for your service. I see Mr. Raymond Miller up here. You know, Ms. Luann. Giving a shout out to her husband. He is the real deal, man. Anybody who served during the Vietnam era has my utmost respect. In fact, all of our service members, you know, throughout our history of serving this country, certainly have my respect for the work they've put in, the sacrifices they've made, and frankly, paving the road for folks like you and me and the others. So big shout out to our Vietnam, Korean War, you know, as it dates back to the times of us defending this. It's really important that we know that, and we appreciate their services. So thanks for having me, man. This is good. This is I'm getting some rest, getting ready to re-engage and get back in the office here after a couple of days of just recovering. So this is a good time to talk. All before I wouldn't have had any energy.
Oh, hey, I definitely appreciate you. I appreciate your time. But this is, you know, very, very important that we take time. Again, I apologize for all this campaign stuff flashing across the screen. I don't mean to give you no to traumatize you any.
Yeah, man.
But,
yeah,
but
put that to bed.
but yeah, what I'm doing is I'm clearing some stuff out here, and
Okay.
yeah, because I got to get all this stuff out of here. I meant to go back the other day, but I was kind of doing the same thing, just taking some time, chilling, getting ready, because you know what for some was, you know, oh, you know, we made it. No, we just started. We just restarted.
No, we're just getting started. There's a lot of work ahead of us.
Yep.
Family, I remember that. That's a good photo of Dr. Gibson's family from his 53rd anniversary of pastoring 2 churches. At one point along that 53-year path, he was pastoring 3 churches, 2 of them which he built from the ground up. So big shout out to Dr. Gibson down at Cedar Grove.
Absolutely. Let's see what you got here. Miss Luann here again. All right, so yeah, and here's what I was loading up. I got some images here, and I'll tell you, I want to kind of walk us through some of these images that we're talking about. These are some images from your military career.
That's General Petard, the 2-star general, who's you'll see him now as an analyst on CNN. I served as his G3 of operation and for his chief of staff during our time at Fort Irwin, California. You know, Irwin is the elite training base where all forces brigade size up that have to do their mandatory training before going into combat. So he and I were the faces you would see as that kind of represents Fort Irwin. But again, a lot of great leaders was a part of that organization. That's Dana Petard, General Dana Petard.
Okay.
Good man. And I also served with him my last assignment. He was our deputy commanding general as a part of the 3rd Army, you know, with the mission we had in the Middle East. So great leader. You know, I'm an infantryman. He's an armor guy. So, you know, our nature's out front. So I enjoyed working for him. Just a brilliant leader.
So infantry was what you came in. Was that the how did I say this? Was that the focus of your studies in college?
No, I actually studied criminal justice in college. So I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Never used it because, again, I went into the military. I wouldn't say I never used it because, again, it applied to everything I did. But criminal justice is my undergraduate study. Infantry is the branch of service, a branch of the Army that I serve in. And, you know, of course, infantrymen are frontline fighters.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because I was made to understand this today. I was made to pay attention to this. Was the fact that we take for granted when we say these things that everybody knows exactly what we're talking about when we say infantryman, and I wanted you to kind of unpack that a little bit. Like what is the job of an what's expected of an infantryman?
Oh man, hey, look, everybody, you know, we say it and we're pretty proud. Every branch, you know, those who serve in each of these branches are very proud of their part, their role in the Army, and all the Marines, whatever case, but in this case for me, it's the Army. But the infantry commanders and those type guys are the ones that are responsible for really bringing all of the forces together. So we're the guys who coordinate, plan, and for the most part lead major operations. So it's that you're going to find either infantry, armor, those combat arms, military specialty. And so when you're talking about logistics, intelligence, whatever it is that we have, I think it's 9 different disciplines. They all come together. We're planning, and we're typically the ones that are leading the fight.
And what are we looking at here?
These things are coins. I think you've probably seen some I put up not long ago, but these are coins that they call them coins of excellence, and for soldier, whomever may be doing a good job, you know, the commander is the commander, the sergeant major generally have these coins, and they'll give them to someone on the spot for doing a great job on the spot, or when you leave the unit. It just to kind of recognize them for going above and beyond the call of duty. This particular coin here just kind of highlights my time in as a leader during the Operation Desert Storm back in 1990-91. 197th Infantry Brigade, and I served in Alpha Company as an executive officer for that fighting force.
So did you experience a lot of fighting? I mean, like, did you experience frontline fighting?
Oh yeah, that's what we do. So when we go to combat, anything infantry, you're going to be on the front line. You're leading, and so in this particular case, what you just saw, that coin represented again the 197th, and you break it down to where we were as a part of that overall brigade, combat brigade. We were Alpha Company, 1st Infantry, or 18th Infantry. And so my role at that time, again, I was executive officer for Alpha Company. And yes, we were out fighting. So during Desert Storm, I think that was the largest, and I have to go back and check the history, but probably the largest coalition of fighting force probably since World War I or II. I mean, we had countries from all over. So again, that was a unified fight that dealt with Saddam Hussein during the invasion of Kuwait. Mm. And so
did you experience? I remember during the news during that time where the troops were like Saddam's troops were just kind of turning themselves over to you guys.
Yeah, in many cases it did. Those guys were poorly trained. There wasn't an army or a force that was taken care of. Everybody the history of Iraq under Saddam Hussein's leadership or regime, if you will, and so the troops weren't well taken care of. It's a dictator, and so a lot of things go south when you have a dictator in charge, if you will. But yeah, so we had a lot of folks that it was an interesting time. That was a 100-hour war. Didn't last very long, but we got in country. I remember going into country on the latter part of August of 1990, and of course, we're a heavy fighting force. We were under the John McCaffrey was our division commander, if you will. So we are attached to his division, and so it takes to move a heavy division. It takes a long time. So about 30 days after we got in country, and is when our equipment came aboard. So we spent a long time.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Some people just walked in the back talking.
So yeah, so we were there from August of 1990 until April of 91, but the fighting only lasted 100 hours, and that's a credit to the force that our coalition partners were able to build to decisively go in and take this force down. And as a part of that, rendering them ineffective, a lot of those guys surrendered, but a lot of them paid the ultimate price too when they came up against the United States and those other forces.
And was that your first time in battle and during Kuwait?
Yeah, I was a young lieutenant then. I think 1990. I had about 4 years in the service, and so I was a young lieutenant. That's one of my colonel. You can tell that I'm an old dude right there. Yeah. So I was a young guy. That was my first time in. That was my first tour of duty. That's what Pop said, man. That's my hero.
What year was this? Do you remember when you took this photo?
Oh yeah, that was in 2005. That was at the end of my battalion command at Fort Jackson, where I had the the honor of training America's best soldiers, men and women at Fort Jackson. And at the time, you got to remember now, this was the height of the war in Iraq. Mm-hmm. So we were getting people in. In fact, we changed some of the entry criteria. So what we were doing, we were bringing people in as old as 42 years old because we needed troops. Mm. This was a long war, and so you see the results of a lot of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines are coming back either mentally or physically disabled. And so we were bringing people in because we had to get those guys off the battlefield. In the Army, we were spending anywhere from 9 months to a year. The Marines, I think they were on 6-month rotation, which gave them time to recover and get back in. But the Army was carrying the bulk of that, if you will, in terms of time, boots on the ground. Mm. There he is, the grunts. Yep.
Yeah, and for those who don't understand what a grunt is, that's
an infantry, man. That tells you we're the guys on the front line getting at it. So I didn't realize Mr. Raymond was an infantryman too. That's why he's so tough, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why you can't break him. Mr. Raymond is the man. he's my hero, man. Good man.
No doubt, man. Okay, guys, we sitting in here with, as you see him on the screen, our very own Colonel Frank McClary, and I'm gonna just say this. And I guess a lot of folks, I keep saying a lot of folks, but some people don't understand the magnitude of the rank that you achieved in the military. For somebody like myself, who I wasn't in the Army, but I understand rank and I understand, what a colonel would be in the Navy, and I understand what a person would have to go through to achieve that, that level of rank. And so I just, again, I know you as, Frank McClary from the neighborhood, friend of the family, but then add to that, this man is a colonel. And so for me, it's big for every time I get to talk to you, because I get to, I sit back and I'm saying to myself, and I talk to some partners of mine who are ex-military, and they fascinated with it. Like, man, because we understand the level of thinking that gets into that part. So I just thank you again, man, for even, giving me the time to, and just giving me the time and your counsel at the same time. I appreciate that.
No, it's an honor. And I was telling a young lady that basically interviewed me today earlier, to talk a little bit about this. And I told her, I said, I'm the type. Believe it or not, I'm a humble, pretty guy. I don't like to flash what I've achieved and those kind of things. I just go out and work. And so, yeah, so to be a colonel in the Army, and the equivalent in the Navy is a captain. Captains command
absolutely
ships.
Absolutely.
Battleships.
I in the Navy, I'm talking about when I got in, I'm straight out of boot camp, E3. And my first ship I went to was the Abraham Lincoln, U.S. unit, CVN 72. And at the time, it was the largest carrier in the world until they commissioned the Ronald Reagan. But the captain on the ship was Captain R.J. Nibby. And he was from here in South Carolina, and we had a bond. And of course, in that setting, you can't be fraternizing with the officers like that. But it was this every time I came to the bridge, you know what I mean? It was always something Carolina, and it was just that camaraderie that we had, being Carolina boys. And but yeah, so that's.
So you think of the magnitude of that? You're talking about it, and I don't know. Was the aircraft carrier you were on?
Oh yeah. Aircraft carrier 72.
So a colonel or a captain, again, equivalent, has that level of responsibility. And I think in the case with the carriers, there's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5,000.
6. We had 6 on that. We was carrying fully loaded. Yeah.
Yeah, and you responsible for all that. And in the case of a colonel, and I never commanded a brigade, but to reach the level of colonel, that's that level of responsibility. That you have, thousands of troops and equipment and, all those things that comes with being a colonel and over a brigade is a pretty big deal. That's one step from being a general officer, you see. And so it's a pretty big deal. I don't like to flaunt it. Again, those are some of my coins from the 29 years I've been in, man. A lot of stories behind each one of those coins, to be honest with you. And I can remember most of them, and I know who the commander or the sergeant major who gave those to me for the reason. And so pretty big deal, man. you know. But again, I don't like bragging about that. I just, you know, I come with a set of skills that I've been blessed to achieve throughout my military, and to apply them here in Andrews as the mayor is what I do. I just do it. I go out and do it. Don't look for any accolades. Uh, just work. That's what it's all about for me. I see Keith in here, man. Keith got a dozen years, if not more. He's probably close to retirement. But he's in Air Force.
He's close to retirement from the.
Yeah. Thanks for your service too, Keith.
Absolutely, brother.
Brother, good people, man. Good people.
What would you say has been the most challenging transition from the world of military to the civilian world?
It's in the military again. We're on a very well designed organization that everyone understands. What is expected of you in terms of your conduct, your mission focus, your discipline, all those things that said, when your commanding officer or whoever's over in charge of you, when they give you guidance to go do, in our case, orders to go do XYZ, it's done. You don't get to call out and say, I'm not coming into work today. There's a protocol for that. You don't get a lot of people fighting back because there's the trust that's built. The people that's has been placed over you. You trust them in most cases that they're not going to steer you in the wrong direction. They're not going to mislead you. And so to your question, so when you give guidance or give orders or guidance, in this case, you're expected to get done. The transition to civilian world, it's not necessarily like that. So, and if you're in the military as long as I have been, it's an adjustment period. Again, the workforce, the resources. If you lack resources, and that's not that we had everything we needed in the service in terms, but we had monies there to get the job done. Here, you have a limited budget, small staff. I mean, at one point I had 30, 35 people working, that was my staff, and so I give guidance and they go out and make it happen. I don't have to look back. Here we're gonna have to get more involved because it's so much, and it's just as important, being the mayor and being a colonel in the Army, whatever the case may be. It's just as important for the things that that we do. And so you got to be a little bit more hands-on. You got to, you have to keep your hands on the pulse and make sure that things doesn't go or doesn't get done because of the short staff or untrained staff. We're fortunate now to have some people that are trained and they take the initiative. So we're in a pretty good shape with respect to Andrews. But that was a transition that I still deal with. I don't want to harp on the things that occurred during the campaign or as a mayor, but the things that people would say about you, calling you crooks and all that. That I wasn't accustomed to that, but I understand that in that political environment, you're going to have people that assume you're one way. There's a split between Democrats, Republicans, all that kind of stuff, and then so they just kind of attack you like you see at the national level. And that's why everything I do, I keep it above board. I keep it, documented. So those who may have question my integrity, then we'll be able to show them. But that has been and still remains something I struggle with. And in terms of just knowing that you're not in the Army, you're not going to get people who automatically follow you. And so you're going to have to put in extra effort to, and in this world, it's if it's not tangible, they don't think it's happening, and they don't understand all of the foundation that was just disrupted and that had to be fixed before you start building things. But again, fortunately, we're at a position now those things will start to become visible, and those who need things that they can see and touch to believe, they will see that coming soon.
Absolutely. So, and do you have a support system with other veterans that you do you find yourself reaching out to some guys who where basically you can talk shop to, you know what I mean? You guys both, you share the same bond and some of the same experiences. Do you have a support system like that?
Not. I have a ton of close friends in the military. Not all of them, left the military, came into politics. In fact, they don't want anything to do with politics. A lot of them left the military and began to make a whole bunch of money. I mean, these guys, it's unbelievable. And not just colonels, but if you served in the military, regardless of your rank, they understand you're coming with your train and discipline and your mission focus, and you don't make excuses about getting things done. And so people will scarf them up. I don't care if you're an E4, but in the case of a colonel, you're very marketable. And so a lot of my friends went out there and became contractors or started their own business and making millions. I decided to come in and make $600 a month.
What a career choice.
Oh man, they'll say, "Man, you must be crazy." But no, I'm not crazy. This is a divine mission I'm on, and so I'm okay. God has blessed me. I can survive on what retirement brings me.
And so when did you make that decision to go into the military? Was that something that you said you majored in and you went to school, you went to college first at Benedict. Shout out to Benedict. They won the championship today.
SIAC champions again, 11-0, buddy. Benedict College Tigers.
No doubt. Hopefully we can get Aaron up that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hopefully get some of our high school kids to go up there and try out for the team. It's a good program. The school is good as well. But in terms of my decision, in 1982 when I graduated from Andrews High, I had no intention of going in the military because at that time there was I think it was Grenada, I believe it was going on. And I told my mother then, God bless her soul, that they sent me brochures, because they know I've got accepted to the school. And I said, no, I'm not doing that stuff. And so I got there the first semester. I wasn't in the program, but I saw the Benedict College program and how professional it was. And you don't normally see that level of professionalism in an ROTC, but Benedict had a really good program. And so I like what I saw. I saw the camaraderie, the uniform, just some really, professional students, if you will. And the next semester I got in, I never looked back. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And I went to airborne school. Got my wings while in college. Just like my daughter just graduated from airborne school at Fort Benning. Same school, same unit. So we're pretty proud of that lineage that now is starting to form. She's now in school at North Georgia University in the ROTC program, and she's doing much better. She's a rock star up there. And so, but that was it. And so 20, and every year I love it. I love the leading young men and women and teaching and training and doing those things to make them better. And so I was fortunate to meet a lot of great people. So when you start talking about, having a support base, I could pick up the phone and call any one of them. They'll be here. Hopefully we can get one to come on tonight, but again, it's a short notice. But as we continue this, you'll meet some of those wonderful people, man. They're retired now and they're making good money. But it was Benedict was a platform for me, for a lot of things.
Absolutely. Again, shout out to the Benedict Tigers on their victory today. And they won handily. They won handily. It was like
this is water and juice.
And so
Ms. Thompson, I see Ms. Thompson on here too, man. Hey, fantastic. I'm grateful for what they did during the campaign and just spreading positive energy across the board. So I just saw her pop up. And she's also an alumni at Benedict College. So those Tigers rocks, man. They rock. So shout out to all of the supporters. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
No doubt. And so no other branch of the service was ever in your mind. It was Army all the way.
Well, and it was easy because that's all we had at Benedict. We were our ROTC program was under Furman University. They were the headquarters for the ROTC, and so I didn't, I wasn't pulled or had to make a decision, which was good. And as I look back now, I wouldn't go anywhere else. But in the Navy, I don't like the water. Air Force, I think it's good stuff, but that wasn't for me. And the Marines, now the Marines probably could have been a choice. See, I played football. I'm a hard knot now. People don't know. I like to get out there and mix it up. So Marines are pretty tough. So I would have probably given it a consideration had it been an offer to me. But the Army, and I'm happy with it.
Now you are a Hall of Fame baseball player up at Benedict, correct?
I am.
So, I mean, I hardly ever hear you say anything about your baseball career up there. How did that mix with the? Was there any chance of like, man, I may be able to take this thing to the next level, and the Army gonna have to wait? Was that ever a situation?
Yeah, I had a shot. Baseball is what I'm more skilled at. I played baseball from a young age, man. I just loved it. My dad, I think I got that from my dad. He was a pretty decent baseball player. And so that's where I'm most skilled at. I love football and basketball. I play those well, but I have to play a lot harder to be among the best in those areas. But I love those sports. But baseball was it. And so going to the other choice, the other reason I made Benedict my choice was because they were talking about having a football team that year. And we had a pretty good, my high school football career was pretty decent. We all think we're better than what we really are. And so when they said football, I said, I'll go to Benedict. But what ended up happening, that did not come to fruition. So baseball was available, and I played baseball, and again, it came natural to me. I was a 3-time MVP doing that. Well, actually, yeah, 3 times, and average of 442 batting average. So there's old Mark right there. Mark, he remember my 719 yards I ran when I was in high school. But Mark was my front blocker there, man. So a lot of history back at AHS. That's why I'm passionate about Andrews High football, and all sports. But football was big for me. But I really enjoyed all of it because it's competitive and it keeps you driving, and that's kind of things that I kind of carried over into the military, and now in the job that I'm in. So this to me, a lot of things are fixed. I enjoy fixing things. I enjoy pulling them together and making a difference, for everybody around. That's kind of the team sport mentality I have.
Yeah, I think I like baseball more than any sport because of the skill level required. And it was so hard for me to play baseball. Like football came easy because you just had to run into people. And that was, if you weren't scared of running into anybody, you can make it in this town.
Oh yeah. Hey, look at Mr. Briggs asking about Secretary Austin. What does he know? I am affiliated with Secretary Austin. He was my he was the ADCM, which was the general officer for maneuver during invasion of Iraq. So he was a 1-star then. And I recall him coming out to some of my training sites, excuse me, as we were preparing to go to war. But another phenomenal leader. He commanded at every level. General Austin commanded at every level. All of the tough job, 18th Airborne Corps at Fort Bragg, 10th Mountain up in New York as a division commander. And then he, in his 3rd star, I think he had the regiment, 18th Airborne Corps was a regiment, and then went on to become the top commander of the Middle East, at CENTCOM, Central Command out of Florida, where I retired from. And so I had an opportunity to work for him under his leadership and learned a lot, but a great man. Now he's the Secretary of Defense for the entire Department of Defense. Come on. That's huge. So, first African American to hold that position, but I don't care what his race is, he is a sharp man, and he's our current Secretary of Defense. So I'm proud to call him my former boss, man. So again, I was blessed to be among, we talked about General Petard, General Austin, HR McMaster. Didn't work correctly. Yeah.
You went to and because I do my research. you went to the same school as General McMaster, same school, and along in your training, as General Colin Powell. That stuck out to me big time. Tell us about that school and what type of training that you what was the focus of training there?
Yeah. So again, as we talk about this in the military, is an organized. Everything is structured. It is structured in the military. So for infantry, all of those guys all those leaders we talked about, General Austin, General McMaster, Petard, we're all there's a school and is a part of that discipline. Going to school and training. So we're you just don't become a leader and not be trained and tested. So in order to get to these positions, you have to compete like the rest. Only the top of those classes move forward. So in this case, as an infantryman, and General Petard is an armor guy, but the same process. You have to go to the basic officer course, which is everyone generally goes through that to qualify to come into the service. And the next step is the advanced officer. In our case, advanced officer infantry school at Fort Benning, Georgia. These schools somewhere in the neighborhood, of 6 months, 8 months, and some a year. And so the advanced course, and then and then the Command and General Staff College, which is out of Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, that's a 10-month course. When you start getting that level, it's a selection. You get selected. So among all of your peer group, and you're talking about thousands of people selected, it's less than 50% are selected to go to the Command and General Staff College. That's back when I was in. I don't know what it is now. Then you're talking about the Senior Service College, which now you're talking, I think, probably the top 5 or 3% of the colonels get to go there, because it's only 300 students at when you go to Carlisle Barracks in Pennsylvania. So it's a very small. You're gonna have to be on your game to get selected for this thing, and so that educational path is the same as these general officers. Now, of course, once they got the colonel level, they started, general officers, brigadier, 2-star, 3, 4, and they kept going. My career ended at 29 years and some months, but along that same educational path. So all of those guys, and they'll tell you it's not, the selection rate is pretty tough. And so, so I'm proud to say that our educational path and our training, all of them were commanders, just like I commanded. Again, they commanded at a higher level as they continued to progress in their career. But on that same path, we sat in the same boardrooms at the Pentagon. But again, they were at a much higher level. So I'm not comparing myself with them. And what I'm saying is that all the way up through those mandatory schools to get to this level of colonel, we were in the same classes.
They had to walk through the same, basically the same halls.
Absolutely.
And I heard you mention this before that you didn't have Ranger training, and so explain making colonel in the time that you made it, and you didn't take the traditional path. Kind of unpack that also.
Well, along with what I'm talking, the educational path we're talking about, there's some specialty training. And so then airborne school, nuclear biological training, or NBC, we call it. There's a lot of things the Army offer you to make you the most proficient and efficient officer or NCO that you possibly can. You have to know these things because you got to be prepared for any situation out there. Ranger School is one of those small unit training that is expected of infantry officers at the company and the battalion level, if you will. And that makes you a little bit more competitive for command. And in my case, I'm not, and still this day, not a very strong swimmer. So you have to be able to swim and do these things. There's 4 phases to this thing. So when someone see you as an infantryman like myself, and you don't have a Ranger tab, they kind of look at you and say, we put a lot of stake on this infantry thing. On this Ranger thing. So, but what I told them, I may not be able to go to this school because I don't swim well, but I said, you can put me up against any of your Ranger qualified officers, and we'll see who come out on top. And that was my mentality. And so I worked really hard. became wherever they, one of the sayings we have is that grow wherever they plant you. So if the Army sends me here and tell me to do this job, be the best at it. And when you're the best at it, this guy who now girls now go, young ladies go to Ranger school, but this person who may have a Ranger tab may not be a very good leader. And that's really what it boils down to. If you're a good leader and you can be trusted to take these men and women through the tough times and lead them and take care of them, your report is going to reflect that. And so in order to get to this level, or at least through the company level, and not have a tab was, I'd have guys say, "Oh man, you don't have a tab, or you haven't done this job right here." I said, "Don't worry about it." So any job I get, I'm going to give it 110%, and I'm going to come out on top. And that's kind of my mentality, and that's how I was successful, doing a great job, work hard. It's a lot of sacrifice to be in the military. It's a lot of sacrifice to do this job, but you have to understand when you are placed in these positions, you are placed in a position with responsibility for the lives and the welfare of people. And you got to take it serious. So what that means for leaders is that you're going to come up short on time with your family, time, recreational time, because you're studying what it takes to move this organization to the next level. So imagine if we didn't train, if I didn't train those troops, or we didn't train those troops, and you go off to combat, nobody know what to do. You're going to lose all of them probably on the first contact. So understanding your responsibility and understanding what the enemy brings, the terrain brings, and know how to work within that is really what you got to become proficient in to save lives and bring these kids back home to their families. And so study, you never stop learning. And that was the thing that drove me and gave me opportunities to continue to advance, get promoted, get tough jobs. And here we are. You're not going to see very many people, coming out with heroism out of just because if you're lazy and not focused. Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of folks with, second awards, combat infantryman badges and those kind of things. That's just not the norm. I get questioned now by some of the old heads. How did you get that? Well, I served in two wars, 2 named wars. And I don't brag about these things. It just came with, with the territory.
Absolutely. All right, we're sitting here with Colonel Frank McClary. Colonel, what are we looking at right here?
Oh man, you see up there it says Saddam International Airport.
Mm-hmm.
But let me preference a lot of this in what I'm saying now. It's nothing I was able to accomplish without the soldiers, the people that I work with. So
I'm glad you did that, because for somebody, again, and you got guys that are listening to this from military, we understand that. We understand that's what makes you a great leader, and your ability to move men in the right direction. And so, yeah, but go ahead. What you saying?
Man, just some wonderful non-commissioned officers. They're the backbone of our service. I don't care which one it is. Those are the guys and girls that do the heavy lifting, man. We write the orders, give them guidance, that kind of stuff, but they make it happen. They make it happen. And so when you can give them that and then walk away and go do something else, that's one of the greatest feelings that an officer or a leader can have, when you got your subordinates focused on the mission and know how to get it done. And that's so I want to make that very clear that those are the heroes. So what we're looking at right here, again, this is in April of 2003. That's one of my vehicles right there. And I'm not sure who is in, but this is where we were, the battle on Saddam Airport. So we thought at the time, a part of the strategic mindset at the time, if we took down the airport, that would have at least broken the spirit of the Iraqis and, caused them to collapse and those kind of things, because they would know that the Americans are here. See, during the invasion, we only had two divisions. There's 3rd Infantry Division, which I was a part of. And then there was the Marine, I think it's 2nd Marine Division, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And so you had these 2 divisions attacking, abreast, and the hill. I call it the cannonball run because with the intelligence we have, it's like the first one that gets to the airport was probably going to be, the hero. That's what was in our mindset. So it was a mad dash for the international airport to bring that that thing down and get control of that. And then from there, we branched out and started conducting other operations. But what you see here, our mission was, again, to secure the eastern side of the airport and secure the VIP lounges where Saddam had a lot of his luxury vehicles. And we thought that that's where his sons and all those other key aspects to his operation was. And so there was a pretty intense battle. I'd say intense. There's a lot was going on around this airport because we had units on the east side, some on the west, and it kind of converged on this airport again to kind of break them down to the knees. And the next operation that probably you're familiar with from this operation was the Thunder Run. That's when we had tanks and Bradleys going down Main Street, Baghdad. We had some casualties during that time. Our second brigade was the lead. It was the lead brigade on that operation. Overall successful, but we lost some troops. And I think some senior level as well. But that's where that picture's from. So we were sitting on the airport. We occupied that for a while, and then we moved out into Iraq and began to occupy for what turned out to be many years of operations in Iraq.
How long was you in country?
In this particular fight, OIF 1, we LD'd, I think, on March the 20th, I believe, when we crossed the line of departure, fought all the way up. And I think I left in July. So I left in July because, again, we still, at that point in time, people were still moving to new locations or in terms of new base and that kind of stuff. So it was my time to rotate out. But at that point, we had already secured some key terrain out there where they can continue the operation for as long as they had before that war became was deemed over.
What do you remember most about when you made it back after your first tour your first tour in combat? What was the first thing you did when you got back stateside?
Which one? The one in 90 or the
your very first time going to combat and coming back home?
Oh man, taking me back to the 90s. That's a long time ago. Certainly your family, because you're separated from your family. You want to come back, going as long as we have. That time it was from August until April of the next year, 91. So a lot had changed, man. I was, in the young marriage. We didn't have any kids, but a lot in terms of just your mindset. So you go through that stuff physically, mentally. And so, but you want to see your family. That's the first thing. You want to see your family, you want to reunite with them. And then you got to deal with, for the rest of your life, what you dealt with in the past few months. That stays with us. And so I'll say that counseling is needed. Continuous counseling for a lot of our troops because it affects us all differently, but it does change your life. And you become, and many of us like leaders, we expect to go through this thing and not be affected, but it does. It's not just the troops, but when you see a lot of bad things out there, death, explosions, and the battlefield is ugly. It's tough. And that's why I tell people around here, I said, I know how to deal with adversaries because that was my life for a long time. So I don't get excited when I see people coming after me on Facebook or doing these kind of things, or in some cases in front of my house taking pictures. I am well trained still. I know how to protect myself, but mentally, it's a difference. And so during that time, and definitely want to get back to the family. And I wanted to get some Super Chick chicken,
Hey, Thomas, you ain't lying, because I'm telling you, when I got on the boot camp, I'm in San Diego, California, and I'm trying to think about, man, boy, a thigh old butter, the Red Rock will be will set it off right now.
Man, it's something about that chicken, man.
Oh man, I'm trying to tell you. I think I want to think sometimes that's what brought me back. Like being overseas and like, I don't care what happened over here. I got to get back to Super Chick.
Well, I tell folks now, so they come in, for a visit or whatever, or to do business. I said, you take them a Super Chick. I said, now you get that Super Chick chicken, you're going to be looking for a house to come back and stay.
All right.
It's something in it. It's
Yes,
something else.
sir.
Yeah, but that's those things, and then the same kind of mindset coming out of the Second War. 10 years, a decade or so more, where and it was even it's crazy. The military's, but it prepares you for it. It kind of conditions you if you're trained right and those kind of things. But you still have an effect. So I say to those who have the power to make things life easier and give the training the treatment to our veterans, we have to do that. You see a lot of people that are homeless that are veterans.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just Andrews, man. You go to California, there's thousands. You go to some of these places. In fact, Arizona just built a modular home division or subdivision or whatever you want to call it, just for the homeless, just for veterans. And a lot of them don't want, we're very prideful people too, and we don't want any handouts. But a lot of times we need that.
Yeah, coming. I mean, the mental scars, like, and you see again, that's the part about. That's why the people taking pictures of the homeless, and I don't even know if that person was homeless or that person was just there. You know what I mean, temporarily or whatever.
Yeah,
but
that's not something you want to do. If you're gonna do something, offer them some
I
help.
offer them some help.
And that shows the true character of people who would do something like that. If you don't have a heart that is about helping people and working through the adversities and making, because if you haven't shared with somebody, not make fun of them because of political or whatever reasons behind that. But I was sent that picture by a young man, so they actually saw the individual taking the picture. And I saw the response on Facebook from the people did not appreciate it, and and it was the things that were said. I think in most cases was appropriate to not support something like that. And but the good thing is out of that, a young man, Mr. Jamar Moore, call him Kimmy. He's now taking that negativity and turning it into positive. And they're rallying young men and women now to go out and feed and provide some support to the folks that are homeless. And I hope they will accept it again. But again, for our young people to step up and to do these things is just heartwarming because
it's key.
Yeah.
Key, vital to the future of this city. I heard you make some comments about 65% ownership, and I mean that's the truth. If you own 65% of anything, you're the owner. You're the majority stakeholder.
You got to step up and be a positive role model, because again, it's like for me, if I'm the head of it, I'm gonna be responsible for whatever happens or fail to happen. I get that, but if we all can come together and kind of share that responsibility, we'll move further faster than anything else. Right now, we just lack a lot of unity in the community, and I think that's coming. I've seen a lot of changes out of this election. And the process and all the pain that we went through, that people are now stepping up with and exercising their voice in a positive way. And you're going to still have the naysayers, but that's fine. That's not ever going to go away. But if we have more of the 65 and the 35 working together, then we'll be a whole. We'll be 100% Andrews. Should be any bit.
Hey man, and salute to Mr. Alford, Mr. Gregory Bennett, and Mr. David. What's Mr. David's last name?
Wait a minute, David Tisdale.
Yes, that over at the Andrews Veterans Association.
Yeah, so you have an Andrews Veterans Association. Again, Thomas, as you said, is the head. Mr. Thomas Alford. Mr. Greg Bennett, like the guy who really does all the groundwork, doing an excellent job. And we also have Mr. David Tisdale, who's a former, he's a retired colonel as well, and a former council member.
Wow.
And so he and Mr. Thomas, they play a lot of golf now, but are still very active in the community. And over at the American Legion, Commander J. Rowe.
Mr. J. Rowe, yes.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job. And I told him I am going to join, and I'm going to rejoin the association, and I'm going to join the American Legion because they need, as these gentlemen continue to work and move up in age,
It's time for the younger vets to step up.
And they're doing phenomenal work. You see that beautiful Veterans Memorial out there.
Absolutely.
It's my goal to have one in Andrews, not necessarily that takes away from that, but potentially a POW memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's one of the things I'm working on or thinking through right now, and that can be in the honor of the Andrews veteran guys. But we need to represent our service members and our their sacrifices across the board. Oftentimes the POWs are forgotten, and I think a POW monument would do us well right there across from the MLK monument.
Absolutely. There's a piece that Mr. Bennett did during the ceremony, and again, I'm gonna get that edited up and it's gonna be available. But he told about, you know, the symbolic table and how the table's set up, you know, for one, and you know the significance of the lemon and the salt on the table, and I just thought that was you know, very interesting. And again, to the younger veterans, yeah, it's time for us to step up, and I'm including myself in that, because you know, up until this point, I've, you know, just kind of been inactive, and so
yeah, we need
they
need us, and we need them, and so you can see Mr. Commander Rutledge out of Georgetown, the Georgetown Low Country veterans. You see how well?
Oh yeah, those guys,
man, they're like
all events, man.
they march, they, you know, called cadence. They're at all of the events, and so that's what we want our Andrews Veteran Association and our American Legion to do. And they're doing a lot of that, but we just have to get in and help them out.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's one of the things I'm going to get more involved in is those kind of things. And hopefully we can draw some of our young kids who are in high school, junior high school, to come out and be volunteers there. Give them something positive to do. Is really going to be the focus of people. As you know, my campaign, it's got to be about the people.
Yep. And I, you know, I was on that volunteering thing this morning, and parents, the kids have to be shown to volunteer. You have to teach them this. You have to show them this. Okay. Sometimes they might, you know, grumble a little bit or whatever, but you gotta have to show them, you know what I mean? In some cases, in a lot of cases, grab them by their arm and pull them out and get them to volunteer, and, you know, doing something. If it's working with seniors, if working with kids, you know what I mean?
Right.
Get out and do some type of volunteering. Again, I was talking about the food bank, and a lot of people are under the impression that food is just free, and you know, it's not. So, you know, when you pull up, and I'm speaking on the one of Ebenezer, because you know, I'm always over there. That's my mom's church, my family church. Instead of, you know, pulling your car up to get food, sometimes get up there and help. You know what I mean? Say, hey, look, I'm here to help. I'm here to volunteer. You know what I mean? And if you got some extra, donate, because that money, again, it takes money to purchase that food. You know, these food banks, they don't get the stuff, you know, for free. They get it at a discounted rate.
That's right.
Yeah, let's look here going into 2024 to really expand our footprint when it comes to volunteering.
Hey, the other young man is said that the link is not loading.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me see what we can do here. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we can do here. Is this guy, does he have social media?
No, he doesn't do
he doesn't do
Facebook.
All right. So let's see if I can send this to. Did you email him that link?
I was I texted to him. I think that may be a problem.
Yeah, try emailing it to him.
Okay.
Yep. And I mean, let them know, you know, well, we know, listen, guys, there's going to be a show hosted by Colonel Frank McClary, and it's going to be called Coffee with the Colonel. And so you guys will get to see and talk to, I mean, and interact with a lot of different people as we kind of build out that platform. I think it's going to be a great platform for people like yourself to get together and kind of have these conversations, you know what I mean, and not have to wait till all the time to Veterans Day, because you're a veteran every day, not just on November 11th. And it's always good when you can talk shop with like-minded people, you know what I mean, especially when it comes to that PTSD thing, because that's the first thing they look at us. Oh, they crazy, they ex-military, they crazy. And it's not, that's not always the case.
Yeah, I'm glad. I dealt with the portion of the PTSD that it was mild, but it was something that could have gotten out of control had I not gotten the right treatment early on when I got back. And fortunately, I was when I came out of the last war, I went straight to the Pentagon, and of course, there's a lot of resources up there. You got the Walter Reed Hospital.
Okay. Hey, he's in there. He's in there.
Did he get in?
He's in there. Let's bring him on up here right now.
Gee, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Hey, that's the Sergeant Major right there, man. Look, I haven't seen this dude in a long time.
I know, right? Hey, what's that on your face? What's that growing?
I'm trying to figure out if you got a new chin there, partner.
I know, right? I know.
Hey, me and old Sergeant Major Gibbs there served together. Now, I think I know it was my last assignment.
Yeah.
So you retired from Shaw as well, right? Or from Third Army?
No, I actually retired out of Italy, out of USAF.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Cause you made that move when you went over to Germany.
Yeah, they hit me with the okie doke on that last move.
Yeah, you went over there and became an Omega too, somewhere in that Theta rope arena.
Woo, that journey was nice. It was hard, but it was fair. I tell you.
Hey, we were trying to get Big Taylor on. So the guy I told you about earlier, Jamal, was certain first class retired Perry Taylor, man. And so the three of us and some other wonderful non-commissioned officers and officers served together in Kuwait. So we had the responsibility for we were the FUOPS, Future Operations Organization. So all orders written, and we became somehow Major. We ended up becoming current ops because it seemed like we were doing. Yeah. we were not supposed to be turning orders for the current operation.
Yeah, we were.
We were supposed to be long range, but we were turning these things. You talk about the pressure. So the product that we would produce, the orders moving troops from. This is when Syria started to kick up back in 13, 14.
Yeah, 14. 13, 14. Yep.
Yeah. So we were writing the orders. Our team were writing the orders, bringing troops from the United States over, preparing to go back into Iraq. And so these orders, these documents were literally, being written, sent up to Central Command to be, massaged, if you will, and then sent to the Pentagon for the President and the Secretary of Defense. That said, okay, yep, this is what I want to do.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we were dealing with. We were talking moving thousands of troops back. We were talking about heavy logistic and then getting them into theater. Those are the orders that I was the chief of staff for the Future Ops. He was my sergeant major. These are the things that we did, man. So we started talking about planning an organization, but it was tough. We never got a break.
No. Man, we would leave out of office at probably like 2 or 3 in the morning and go to the gym.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. That was our only, that's the only time we can get in the gym is we go and work out. I was in good shape. But what about them runs, Sergeant Major?
Oh, yeah. Whew. Man, I tell you, but that was the only way we was able to keep it going, though.
Yeah. And
be right back in there the next morning at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Where you from, Sergeant Major?
I'm actually originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Spent some time down in Mississippi. So, yeah, that's where I'm originally from.
Okay. And your did you how did you come to the Army? How did you it was straight out of high school, or did you go to college afterwards, or how did you end up in the Army?
So initially, that journey, woof, I tell you. So initially, huh?
I told him every soldier has a story.
I'm telling you. So I initially joined. I left out of high school, went and played down at a year at Grambling for football.
Okay.
Played for Coach Eddie Robinson for about a year. I hated the man. I tell you, I hated that man. He wore me out. But hindsight 2020, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Gotcha.
And ended up, had a daughter, had to make some changes in my life, and decided to do this Army thing. And went into the military, and we was the first unit, 19 Delta Cavalry Scout, out of Fort Knox, Kentucky, the first unit to graduate, get held over, and they pushed our whole unit over to the 21st Replacement over in Germany and prepped us for deployment for Desert Storm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So straight from the grease to the fire.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the whole time I was like, what the hell did I get myself into? But it was a journey. It was a journey, and it was a great one too. So I enjoyed it.
What do you think sustained you through that time? Like when you hit that wall and you're like, man, what am I doing? What was it? I know for a lot of people, for me, it was always my uncle said, hey man, just look back at this person or that person and be like, if they made it through this, you can make it through this.
I think for me, it was more along the lines of, I knew that I didn't want to go back home. And that wasn't even an option for me. And because I knew what was back there waiting, I was like, I think for me, it was just the drive and the determination to be successful. And then I think once we got held over after basic, those 2 weeks, I looked to my battle buddy, Lamont Mapp. I told him, I was like, hey man, I said, we went through 16 weeks of straight pure pain. I said, let's go see if this stuff really worked. And so that, and so the whole time of basic, that's what they told us as cavalry scouts. You got 3.5 seconds of life expectancy on the battlefield. So we was like, you know what, we're gonna beat the odds. And that's what really drove me.
Hey Jamal, and we talked a little bit about infantry and the tough stuff. So he's a 19 Delta. We talked about scout. These guys are out front, so they go out and find the enemy, find key things, find what's important to the overall mission. And these are small units that go out to do these things. So you're talking about life expectancy of a 19 Delta. It's pretty tough. So I talk about out front as an infantryman, but there's folks even further forward. You're operating outside of some coverage, that makes it really difficult for them. And so that's the guy you're talking to, this guy and others like him, man. That's tough business. You're talking about scouts who can snoop and poop, get information shared back, and then it prepares us to go out and do what we need to do.
And I think one of the key things that you said too.
Go ahead.
I think one of the key things you said too is with minimal support in small elements too, and you're out there alone. You're out there all alone, and you're just trying to figure it out and making sure that you get that information that you need to get back there and pass it to elements like Colonel Frank there, and I tell you that's and to keep those young men mind right. So that was a journey.
Do you coming from how did coming from where your background, how did that prepare you for this, or was this something that it's like, man, I'm here, I got to make it happen? Or I mean, did you rely on your background a lot, going through because I heard the reason why I'm asking this is because you said that you knew that going back wasn't an option, and for a lot of us coming from rough areas, coming being a part of where a lot of our friends didn't make the best decisions, how much of that coming from Memphis did either said you're not wanting to go back there, but how much of that helped you out when you were out, operating in the forward position, just saying, hey, I gotta get back, I gotta get through this?
I think for me, it helped me from the leadership perspective, and knowing that I had to depend on me, and I had to always fall back on my abilities and my intestinal fortitude, that I knew what was right. And I think for me, it helped from some of the things that I dealt with growing up. Being the first one out of my family to actually graduate college, and I had a brother that had actually left and went to join the military, but he didn't stay. He came back after 4 years. So my biggest thing was I just took all of the things that I learned from growing up and the crowds that I was around, and that helped me with my leadership abilities, because it was check but verify when it came down to leading soldiers. It wasn't just taking their words for it. I had to verify that they did what they said they were going to do. And I think that's one of the things that kind of drove me a little bit and helped me out tremendously.
So what kind of work are you doing now post military?
So right now, kind of doing quite a few different things. So we own our own gas station here.
He's making a lot of money.
See, here we go.
They're making a lot of money.
So we own our own gas station, and and we do used tires. Also got a convenience store with it, and then I have a farm here in Northern Virginia.
What do you grow on that farm?
Only grow organically grown products. We do pick your own blueberries, pick your own strawberries, wildflowers. We grow our own pumpkins. We're the only Black farm in Fairfax County in Northern Virginia.
Cool. I've been this group that I met. Actually met the young lady through Colonel Frank, and I've been learning about agro-tourism here. That's the big thing. You know what I mean? And how big of an economy that is. And again, that's one of the things that we just we've got out of that loop, and it's good to hear that you're back in that loop of being in touch with the earth. Because one of the things that they say over at this farm, which is called Kidogo Farms, just check them out, is that they grow it, pick it from the dirt and eat it. You know what I mean? Just being in touch with the earth on that level.
Oh, absolutely. The craziest thing is I said I didn't want to go back, was one of the biggest things were when I was growing up, we had a farm growing up, and I was the youngest of 24. So by the time I got ready to leave, it was just me.
We were working too much, man. I didn't know all this.
Wow.
Yeah. I was the youngest of 24, and they told me, they was like, look, ain't nobody else here. You the last one standing. You got to go out here and help get this done. And so when I left, I told my parents, I said, I ain't ever coming back to this. Never. I ain't doing no farming. I don't want to see no dirt, no tractors, nothing. And fast forwarding, I know they just looking down, just smiling, because everything unbeknownst to me and what they taught me has actually got me where I'm at today.
Absolutely. And wow. And so when did you make that decision to go back to that part of your life?
So I think Frank can kind of attest to this, because in the beginning we were, of course, Branch, we all done live that story where Branch said they're going to promise to get you back to your certain area where you want to retire at. So they told me they was going to get me back to Northern Virginia. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, that's going to be my last stop. And lo and behold, I think it was, Colonel Frank, it was probably about 6 months to a year before I was supposed to report. They ended up changing my assignment.
Yep.
And send me over to Italy for my last assignment, because they had me on a tier 1 assignment. I was like, you know what?
Yeah, you got to bounce around a bit.
Yeah. But and once I got over there, so we had bought this property in 2015 because we were only looking for like 3 to 5 acres. But I found this one here and we purchased it sight unseen. I didn't have any clue of what we was going to do with it. Only thing I knew was that it was a good deal. It was a nice piece of property, and this is what I said I was going to retire at least trying to establish a legacy for my family. And I got over to Italy and lived on the community. Everything that we did out there, I hung out with my landlord. He was on a farm. My areas of responsibility was Africa, and met a lot of great people out of 37 countries out of the 57 in Africa. And they showed me a lot of things that the land can do for us. And when I got back, retired in September, got back to the property, I just went to work.
What did some of did any of your siblings be like? I thought you wasn't going to do that.
Oh yeah. Oh, they calling me now and be like, hey, how did mom them grow those okras, and what did you have to do to it? No. We ain't doing that no more. You should have listened.
No doubt, man. No doubt. That's what's up, man. All right. So yeah, man. Man, this is awesome right here, man. First of all, welcome to Andrews the podcast. This is a podcast that it initially started out, it was a business called Failing Forward in Business, and you work with Colonel Frank McClary, and so you know the influence that he has. And I was telling somebody today that I said this when I did the interview, I did an interview with him, man. I had a far from all of this lights and all of this stuff. I had a handheld Tascam recorder, and we did a recording at Town Hall. And I remember that day saying, damn, he's gonna have me doing good stuff with this podcast, because I wanted to get on here and just kind of wild out and vent and right. And it went from that day. I made a decision. I changed this a couple years ago. I said, nah, it's not Failing Forward in Business. This is called Welcome to Andrews the podcast. And it was here to do, to do what he's doing. Like, and I don't know if he's telling you all the money he's making here for the town of Andrews, that high paying mayoral position.
I know. Trying to be all modest about it. I know.
Hey, he know.
Hey, man, listen. And I'll tell you, we in the town of Andrews, we pay our mayor monthly, right? We pay our mayor $600 a month, $554 after taxes. So I don't know what he's doing with all that money. And Sergeant Major, I promise you, the flack, everything else that comes with it. Oh my goodness, I'm like, man, when you go to the VA, you need to get them to check your head out, bro, because who signs up for this? But it's just a testament to his character, and it's a worthy. Andrews is worthy of a Frank McClary. You know what I mean? And I think that's what you know what I mean? Because it made us, you know what I mean? And so,
right.
You know, I'm in a privileged position to be here and to be able to help, you know, push this out and to, you know, learn firsthand. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I went somewhere.
No, I tell you, I can tell you where you were going with it, and I can tell you, kind of attest to the inspiration that he brings and the fire that he lays upon you. I tell you, when he sat up there and told me that he was going to retire and he was going to go and do, and he was running for mayor in Andrew back in his hometown, I was like, crazy. It's like, I was like, I don't even know where Andrew's at. Is that even really a county? I don't even know. It's like, so, but he told me, and I just seen the fire and the desire in his eyes and his passion for it. And I tell you, it was absolutely amazing. And that has done nothing but kept my flames burning, in the sense of I'm actually trying to start a project now back at home where I'm actually trying to establish a project back at home where I'm purchasing land back there to actually open up a theater as well as a bowling alley for the community, to be able to get some of these kids off the street down in Mississippi. So about 28 miles south of Memphis. Mm-hmm. And so I'm actually looking to do that down there. So we getting my sister and my nephew on board. We're going to also do a solar farm down there. So and I would have to say, and I know Colonel Frank don't get this. He probably get it a lot, but I know for me, he didn't get it that much. But I just wanted to even echo the passion and the drive that he's poured upon me. And that's nothing but a true testament to the man that he is and his leadership. So yeah, he's the one that's got me going.
That's what's up, man. And I mean, this is huge, man, for us in the town of Andrews, because again, you know, he's a colonel, and a lot of folks, you know, because we're not a military town, so there's not you got a lot of people that's got family that's in the military, but not to this level. And so,
right.
I really appreciate you, more right now. I mean, I appreciate you because folks are getting to hear from some of the people that work with him that's not connected to Andrews. You know what I mean? Because they think, oh, it's just the Andrews. No, dude. This what the kids say? Oh, he him.
Oh yeah, he is him.
He is
absolutely.
Him.
Oh, he is him. And it's crazy because like even when he came on board, when we linked up and at Shaw, he took over a position where it was didn't have a good reputation, and he just came in, and is the way that he carried himself and the attention to details and just he didn't have to walk around and scream and yell. It was just how he carried himself and the ability that the leadership that he brought out of other ones that was in the team, and it was just exceptional. And it was almost like it was effortless from it. And so I commend him tremendously for his leadership style and his passion for everything that he brings to the table.
Absolutely. I say, Andrews right now, we leading the country right now. We got the best deal for a politician. I'm talking about when you talking about price, and as far as what we getting for that price. Wow.
All right, cut it out.
We're genius.
Jamal, I told him when he's ready to move up to that next level, give me a call. He told me he couldn't afford me, but
oh man, I'll tell you,
nah, man, I appreciate it, but as I said before, Sergeant Major came on, it's guys like him, Perry Taylor, who you're going to meet here in the near, probably on one of our Coffee with the Colonel, are really the guys that make things happen, man. You know, he said effortless. It's only because of non-commissioned officers who really run our services, who understand the mission. Some say now, you know, understand the assignment, but they know, and you can trust them. So that same level of trust I need for them to have, I got to have in them, and they made it happen, man. I'm telling you, you went to see Big T. You know, you see that guy, man. It's incredible the team we had, and so when they know they can anticipate. That's the one thing about guys like Sergeant Major Gibbs, is that you don't have to tell them the details. You give them the mission, they go figure it out. They rally the troops and they get it done. And so really that's the essence of our success, and is through guys like him. And that's how you see leaders like, you know, we talked about General Austin or Secretary Austin, but you see the same thing in these guys who understand and become businessmen because the training they get, they go to the same training as well on the non-commissioned officer side. Those are schools that train them to be leaders, and that's just not leaders in the military. That's leaders in any organization that understands business and want to move it forward. They'll get a retired military person to go in and not, you know, to get it done, and they can go somewhere else and do something else. That's why his business, the things he's talking about now, is successful, because they teach us that mission focus, taking care of people along the way, and giving just as much as you receive. And man, so I've been blessed to have those guys, because he was right. I had no clue about this job. We had an office at Shaw Air Force Base, and we also had an office in Kuwait. And so sometimes probably we were passing each other in the air, literally flying, because it seemed like every other month we were flying to Kuwait or back to Shaw, because we had to run both of them. And so we were pretty mobile, diverse, and you got to have some squared away folks like Sergeant Major Gibbs and Taylor and the others that were part of the FUOPs. Amen. Hey, look, I don't have my flag with me, but I think you still you earn a couple of flags. you earn a couple of flags, buddy. I ended up being a victim, but you earned a couple of flags on the play. I'm just right.
I got a couple of flags over there. I admit to those. Hey, but you know, I started laughing.
I believe you've been behind a lot of those penalties that I got.
Hey, but look, I got flags, but I didn't get ejected from the game.
Jamal, I have to tell you offline, man. These dudes, man. You can trust them, but you can't trust them.
Hey, you know what? I started laughing earlier when you was talking about Honorable Austin, right?
Uh-huh.
And you know, so I know I told you about the farm and the service station. Mm-hmm. So currently, right now, I'm the director of IT engineering with DISA, and okay. So a lot of the things that I do, I'm responsible for a team that has some connections with him as well. So we were on a conference probably about a month ago, and I popped up on the screen. He was like, "Sergeant Major," he says, "Oh, so this is where you've been hiding at." And then he asked me, he says, "Where's your colonel at? Is he with you?" I says, "No." I says, "No, he ain't with me. He's down in South Carolina." He's like, "I'm gonna have to swing through and check him out."
You know he's frat now too.
Oh yeah. Look, I told him I was like, we need to get together after this so I can haze him up.
He might need to go and get in the cut somewhere, you know. Oh man, that's pretty good. Hey, I'm coming back up. I'm probably going to sell my house up there at some point in time, and I think if my son don't get him away, but I'm coming back up in a few months. so we can go ahead and break bread, man, and get caught up. And we need to do a reunion.
We do. We do. I was talking to T about that. And I told him, I was like, man, we got to get together.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to do a reunion, man, because and people, if you haven't served, man, you know, these relationships become a bond that is unbreakable. Just listening to him and hear him, you know, not talk about me, just to see him, it drives an emotion that is uncontainable, to be honest with you, because these are people that you share some hardship with. So when you talk about brothers and sisters of arms, man, it's guys and young ladies like Sergeant Major Gibbs that is always going to be a part of me, because again, I know that to be successful and have the success if I had it was on a lot of times on the backs of men and women like him, and not on their back because that was their job, but I know it was tough. And he talks about these long hours, man. It was unbearable. It was crazy.
Man.
That we had to push, because we had to put, you know, things were happening as fast as things were happening in theater. We had to push out orders to make it happen. A lot of that stuff, you know, was these guys pulling the team together. And sometimes our office space would be packed with, you know, planners from all over the place that we have to organize and get products from them, which was sometimes like pulling teeth.
Yep.
But it was Sergeant Major and Sergeant Taylor going out and said, all right, we need your product. You got to get the stuff to the colonel so we can put this plan together, brief the general. And you know, going out to see General, what's his name?
Terry.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. That dude.
Good man. But General Taylor, man, in fact, my daughter's in the school now where he graduated. A brilliant leader, but I tell you, he was hard. He wanted it now. He wanted it. And if you wasn't right, when you get up in that war room, boy, it's going to get bloody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They probably rip your face off. But that's what we were dealing with, man. So we were front and center, you know, and modernized battlefield, you know, watching things unfold on the big screen up in the big room up there in Kuwait, you see. So it was tough, but we got through it. We made a difference. And then we hear, you know, years later to talk about it and start another phase of our life, man. So I appreciate you, Sergeant Major. You know that. You know how
absolutely.
Now we roll, man, and we're gonna get together and do some great things.
Oh, absolutely. We definitely going to.
You come down to Big Andrews.
There you go.
Hang out with me and, you know, Jamal and Liz, Miss Peggy right there. Miss Peggy know how to put a party together.
No doubt. Peggy, get better. I heard you were a little bit under the weather. Get better, please, ma'am.
Yeah, man, this is cool. I know he's busy and all that good stuff, man, but I appreciate you taking the time out to come on, because this is Veterans Day. It ain't about me; it's about us. All three of us. You know, Jamal don't talk about it much, but he served in the Navy. You know, on these battleships and all that stuff. You know how all that is a part of this. This powerful armed forces we have, man. So we appreciate, if you've been in the Army or Navy, Air Force, Marine, 1 year, you're a veteran and you've done some amazing things. So
that is true.
Yeah, man. So we appreciate everybody out there in the that's celebrating Veterans Day. Do something. Like I made a post on Facebook. I said that every soldier or service member has a story. Listen, take time to listen to them, and you'll be amazed. You'll learn some things. And like, you know, as close as Sergeant Major and I are, you know, I'm just learning about the 24 siblings.
Listen, listen, Sergeant Major. We working on, again, I said this earlier, but me and a couple other people, you know, a team that we got working on this podcast for definitely going to have you back on Coffee with the Colonel. And yeah, so yeah, we'll save that, because I want to know about the 24. I need to see a picture of Daddy. That's my
Hey, Papa was a Rolling Stone, man.
Whoa! Papa was a stone.
Papa was a bad man. Papa was a bad man.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, let me stop, because I already want to ask questions now, like, because it's fascinating, because that's what our families were. You know what I mean? That's what our families were. And so,
but they'll look at him now, or you or me, and think that we were born with silver spoons in our mouths.
Right. 100%.
They don't understand the story. You know, and a lot of our kids, especially when I was basic training battalion commander, I got to know up front these soldiers or background. Some coming in from living under, a bridge, and that's what makes them. So when you come in this organization that is structured, you give them structure. A lot of times at graduation after 8 weeks, I think now it's 10 weeks in basic training, when the parents would come to the graduation, they didn't even recognize them physically or when they speak, because in 8 weeks, their lives have been turned around and now they're institutionalized into an organization that is structured for the good. And so then you won't see that they were struggling, years upon years, because now they have been brought in, dust off, trained, become 19 Deltas, 11 Bravos, whatever the case may be, now serving a purpose and wearing a uniform with pride. And when they speak, they are a United States military person. It's a difference. And that carries all the lives, man, for many of them.
And that's true. That's so very true. And, I get people come by the farm here, and we got a little farm store, and people come in. I do the honor system, so nobody have to be here to check them out. And they come in, take whatever it is that they need, drop their payment in the box. And I get people all the time come by, and they'll sit there and ask that question. It's like, you trust these people to do that? I was like, hey, I hit them first with the honor system. When they see the word honor system, that's on them. And if they take it and without paying, then obviously they needed it more than me, and let them be blessed. And then and the high power blessed me with it more. So I'm not worried about it. And they look at it and they're like, man, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing for you to have that type of passion toward it. But I learned that from everything that Colonel Frank just said. You don't have to be selfish. We're in these positions because of the things that we've been through and we've learned. So I can't thank y'all enough for inviting me on here. And this has been truly a pleasure.
No, man, I couldn't, the first names came, and I got, just like you got a lot of folks out there in the military that was with. And so when we started, Jamal and I started talking about this, man, Perry Taylor and Sergeant Major Gibb, you got to talk to these guys, man. These are some true heroes, and I'm going to bring others on just the same caliber as a Sergeant Major. And but you got to hear their story, man. And hopefully through these series of things that we encourage some of our young men and women to come in the military, do 3 years, learn something, get a trade, and then come back out, because anything you can do in the civilian world, we have it in the military. I don't care if you're talking about lawyers, truck drivers, dentists. Here, we are our own culture, community, our own world. And on our base, you don't ever have to leave, because we got it all right there. And you don't want to be on the base, but we got it all there. So it is a special, I wouldn't trade only but one day. I think one day I was, and it happened to be, too, Sergeant Major. Oh my God. I had to sit in the parking lot and pray for a few minutes before I went back in the building, because this dude done got on my nerve. So that's the only day out of 29 years plus that I was like, this was going to be a bad day. I'm going to have to check this guy. And I would have gone to jail because he was much senior than I. But I had to take a break and back off, man. He was driving us nuts. You remember that training exercise we had?
Oh, yeah, I remember. I remember very clearly.
And this gentleman went to our office, man. Like, what's wrong with this dude?
I was like, Colonel Frank, we got it. let's take a walk.
Man, I was about to go nuclear.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was 2 more days, but yeah, that was one of them that sticks out of my mind, man. But all in all, we did some amazing things, man, and so we'll forever be brothers and family as we go about our lives. And my door is always open. I don't have to tell you that. I just like, I like to be with people who care about other people and willing to give and sacrifice for improvement in other people's lives. That's what it's all about. And sometimes that's not seen or accepted because they really don't understand us. If they stick around long enough and keep watching, they'll see, and just get involved so we can move this thing forward. So, too much is given, much is required. and that's where I am.
And Jamal, I will leave you with this. And Colonel Frank, whenever you get a chance, I send you my resume. I'm ready whenever you are. Long as it's remote, though, it's got to be remote.
Hey, I'm not messing with this dude.
Oh man.
Well, hey, listen, man. This is Welcome to Andrews the Podcast, and this is the Veterans Day. This has been awesome, dudes. Guys, I'm looking forward to the coffee with the Colonel. Sergeant Major Gibbs, it's been a pleasure to meet you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
It's coming.
Definitely. And this has been awesome. Any part? First of all, shout out your business. You know what I mean. So if anybody listening to this is traveling in your area, where could they find you and to come out and to patronize your business?
So definitely, if you're up in the Falls Church area, right off of Columbia Pike, 5919 Columbia Pike, it's Discount Tire and Gas. It's Black-owned service station there, and either you find me there or you can find me on the farm out at Hidden Gems Farm out in Centerville, Virginia. And we do all 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef, 100% goat milk lotions, goat milk soaps, 100% soy candles. Everything, we make it right here. Just me and the wife and my 3 girls.
And my nieces, my sister-in-law.
That's right.
That's right. Do you have a website?
I do. It is Hidden Gems Farm VA at Gmail. Okay.
And if you would send the mayor some, like, if you got some, send them a link to that. So as I do my regular podcast, I'm gonna be shouting you out in there, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this has been very good for me. You know what I mean? I do a lot of shows and a lot of times it's just being selfish, but this was good for me, guys. I appreciate this. This is just being able to just kind of sit back and seeing you guys reconnect and just to shout out all the veterans, you know what I mean? And to celebrate our rich history in the military. Like, for example, my family, every major war in this country, and I haven't confirmed the Civil War yet, but I'm sure there was somebody with my blood on the battlefield for the United States. I'm talking about World War I, World War II. As a matter of fact, I need to go out and I didn't do that today, so I'm glad I'm saying this, but I need to go out and place flags tomorrow on my Uncle Junebug. He fought in Vietnam. My Uncle Vern, he fought in World War II. But it's just been a long history, and I always tell people I'm more American than most because my family's been here and putting our blood in the soil, for this country for a long, long time. And that is a staple in the Black community. Proud, long military service, man. So again, I thank you guys, personally, and for the Welcome to Andrews, the podcast family. Any final words you want to leave us with, Sergeant Major Gibbs?
The only thing I would do, I would definitely like to leave a word out for some of the veterans that's out there. It's like Colonel Frank said earlier, every veteran's got a story, regardless of if you served 1 year, 2 years, 20 years, 30 years. Every veteran has a story. But don't forget one thing. If you need to talk to someone, you always have someone to lean on. There's another veteran that you can lean on. And don't be afraid to ask for help. And mental health is serious right now. So definitely reach out to your battle buddies, reach out to some of your old comrades. You can definitely lean on them. And lastly, Frank, my man, I love you, man.
Love you, my brother.
I appreciate y'all, and keep doing great things. And we're definitely going to do some things and link up out there.
Absolutely. I got you for coffee with the Colonel, but you're gonna have to come on the Welcome to Andrews the podcast and let's talk about this farm. And I'm gonna link you up with the folks from Kidogo and see can't we get because they're always doing it. Those are some remarkable people over there. They all got a small homestead is what they call it. I think that's what they call it.
Yep.
But definitely. All right, Colonel, on you.
Hey man, this is again. I appreciate the time spent with again a good friend of mine and warrior battle buddy, and just getting caught up, man, and just talking about our veterans on this day. And we, as you said, we need to continue to do that. You can never go without some emotions because as we talk, my mind drifts back to not only the time with Sergeant Major, but to all of the soldiers I've had the privilege and the honor to serve and lead, and in many cases follow. And so they're special people and very talented. And again, I'll echo what Sergeant Major said with respect to the mental challenges, the physical challenges that our veterans have. We should be reaching out to them. We should be looking for opportunities to get them the help that they need, man. And so let's keep them on the forefront. Let's not let it be just one day of the year. Let's keep them on the forefront because a lot of these men and women came back and can't provide for their families, and we don't do a good enough job in the States to take care of them. The way I see it, if they leave the military not being able to take care of their families because of their providing their services, the United States should own them.
Absolutely.
Take care of them free. Because when we go out there and put it on the line, it's not half. We're fully committed. We're the pig in this situation. When the pig dies, it gives up everything. So we're fully committed, and so to see them come back and struggle, man, is heart wrenching, and it's something that needs to be fixed. So man, let's stay in touch. You know where I am. You know I'm like that ghost dog part of me. Sometimes
running from it won't save you. Running from it won't save you. It won't save you from me. I got you.
I know, man. I know, bro. But I appreciate that, man. So y'all, you keep pushing. I'm coming to see you. Get the
I know.
Wife and the girls my best, man. I'm coming to see you, and hopefully Jamal can join me up there.
Hey, I got the camera ready. I was already saying, y'all gonna have to, because you're gonna have to let me know. Hey, turn that camera off for this part right here.
yeah. There's the point you might have to turn that off.
Some of us are still in the witness protection program.
Hey, look. Hey, don't start. So Jamal, I'm sure he told you why I said you got to send me the dial-in. I don't do social media.
No doubt.
That attests to some of the flags I've earned from him. So.
Yeah, you got a few flags, buddy. You got a few flags.
Oh man,
I appreciate y'all, man.
Hey guys, listen, this has been great, man. Let me go ahead and sign out right here. We right here at this 2-hour mark, which is good, man. But me and the Colonel have been on this thing 3 hours at times. You know what I mean? So get ready for that. Like, because I love the podcast format because it gives us a chance to talk it out and run ideas down to the where you don't get on the show and you trying to do a quick sound bite here and there and there and there. So, but that's why I love this podcast platform. But anyway, guys, man, I appreciate you. I'm about to sign off right now. Y'all have a great night. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.